woke up this morning and look at this guy up here. Look at this guy up here. Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have something for the 4x4 fans out there, the crawler fans. If you like RC crawlers, oh my god, this one is the granddaddy of RC crawlers. Good morning, guys. You know when you got your Grundens on, it's one of those days, and it seems like we have a lot of those days here in the Pacific Northwest. You can see how nice and beautiful it is here, but today I'm gonna take you out on a backyard adventure. We're gonna go out in the backyard. We're gonna get out in the rain and the misery back here. We're not gonna quite make it in the chicken coop. They look completely miserable today, but I built in this thing that's called the bus stop. So back there, they can get out of the rain, enjoy a little dry-ish place to perch. But today we're gonna come out into the backyard because it is completely wet and muddy and nasty, and I think this would be the perfect playground for my brand new FMS FCX10 that I just got last week. I've been running it a little bit. I have got it cleaned off quite nice for you. I'm gonna take you inside where it's nice and warm, and we're gonna unbox it. I'm gonna show you the truck and what it's all about. Then we'll come outside and run it. All right, guys, welcome back inside. We're nice and cozy and warm, and look what's on the freaking bar right there. That's the FCX10 Land Rover. It's the Camel Trophy Edition. Now, as it sits on the bar right here, it is about $300. It is around $360 to $370 ready to run, and it does have some pretty awesome features on this. If you haven't driven or had a brand new RC car or crawler in a long time, and you haven't had an FMS version, you're in for a treat, because this does have a brand new, no clips on the body. It's just quick release body on the bottom, and it also has magnetic LED lights. So there is a connection in the front and the back for the LEDs, and they're all wired up. So when you set the body down onto the frame, it automatically plugs in all the LEDs. You don't have to plug them in and then put the body on in previous versions of models that we've seen. So everything lights up here, front and back, and even across the top bar here. So top bar lights, yeah, and a 2 different speed transmission on this one. Now let me go ahead and open this up for you. Let's do a little unboxing and big reveal. You can use a 2S 4400 battery on this truck, and you will get way over 20 minutes drive time, but this is the Range Rover body version. You can also get the Discovery version and the Defender 110 version, which I think kind of looks the best. Now, if you want the biggest body version, the Range Rover is definitely that. It has some super cush liquid filled metal shocks under here, and the 2-speed transmission is controllable from a switch on the transmitter, which I'm going to show you in a second. But let's go ahead and pull the truck itself off of the platform here, set it down to the side, and let me pop the top for you. You can see the underbody of the transmission here, front to back. We've got really nice oil filled shocks like I mentioned before, and we have crawler style tires, which is nice and squishy. You can hear some air escaping out of those, and we already have the underbody skirt panels put on underneath the wheels right here, so that is really nice. Now, to get the frame off, you just turn this little latch in the front and the back, and it releases the body from the frame. So now you can take a look and see what's under the hood. And what I want you to see is that magnetic LED system. You have a track right here, and you have a track right here. And once all those connect, it makes your connection for your LEDs, which is really nice because in the past I've had to go and plug wires in across the frame and the body. When you take the top off, it always makes it a little bit awkward because you're trying not to break your LED wires. And I love the fact that it came with all of the underbody skirts already on. The wheel wells are here. I have gotten other FMS models recently that didn't have that, but they did come with these. You just have to install them yourself. Now, we do have sort of a mid-stage battery here. We have an XT60 connection, and we also have the wires tucked along here. They're braided and wrapped, also zip tied down to the frame here, connecting to that 550 brushed motor, which is a 32T. And it looks like the gold edition, what they call the power dash. We also have a connection from the ESC, which is tucked under there, up to the receiver right here. And you can see it is an FMS style receiver, has a built-in capacitor, and we're also running our lights off of this. It's really nice because this is kind of an all-in-one ESC and receiver together here. You can see that there is a little bit of heat sink right here. And in the very front is where our drive servo is, also metal digital servo. We have 2 posts up front. This is where the body connects on and off and locks into place. It does have spring loads on each side, front and back. And the transmitter takes 4 AA batteries in the bottom. It's nothing to, get all super excited about. It does have sort of the carbon fiber look across the handle. It doesn't have any rubber on it, which I think would be kind of nice. It does have a USB-C port for firmware updates. Typical throttle style here. It does have a cover over top of everything here underneath the hood. So we have standard servo reversing, throttle reverse. We have an LED indicator, power buttons here. We also have steering, drive, throttle, trims, and dual rates here. If we close that up, you can move the wheels, nothing special again, just a little bit of foam there. But where it gets nice is some of the buttons on the side. So here we can do 2 different types of transmission. It'll make it really, really fast or slower for crawling, which I think is pretty awesome. So there is also a power button. So if you want to leave your battery plugged in, say you're going to run the car, you're not supposed to leave a battery plugged in for long periods of time, say like overnight or days and weeks, but you do have a switch here to turn it off when you're done, if you're just walking back to your car, or you're just setting it down out of the car to get ready at your crawler spot. So once everything's turned on, I have everything working properly, and this is where it gets really cool. So on the transmitter itself, I just changed the transmission just by pushing that button, and now I've got a little more speed in the car. So push it again and lock down the transmission for crawling. So now it's a little more kind of slow and steady, which is nice. You can see here we've got articulating 4-wheel drive here. Very, very, very sturdy 4-wheel drive on the bottom of that. Now, what gets really interesting also is that you have this wheel right here, which changes your LED function to on and off. Now, you've got headlights in the front, brakes in the back, and then the light bar across the top also works. Okay, so I'm gonna press down on the truck body. Just checking out the shocks here, front and back. It's really springy. Look at it side to side, it's crazy. Front to back. We've got gas cans that also came in the box here. I already put these on. Didn't have to do anything here. And you also get a few different stickers in the box for different states. I put Texas LHL 666 on there. And I also added this big camel trophy sticker on the back. For the younger guys that don't know what camel is, well, kids, I can't even really say it in a YouTube video these days because I might get flagged for saying the word cigarettes. But yes, that's what camel was back in the day. It makes me feel like I need a pack of cigarettes for this review. But we have a guy inside. There is also a baseball hat, a yellow baseball hat to match his truck inside the truck box, which is kind of nice. So now let's turn on the LEDs. Just flip this switch right here. Watch this. Here we go. We're gonna go ahead and turn these babies on. Very cool. Look at that light bar across the front. That is pretty awesome. One of my other Chevrolet trucks had a light bar that I had to install myself, but they weren't working lights, and it would have a bunch of wires going down and into the truck body. So yeah, it's super cool that this one came all lit up with the front headlights and everything. Like it's not justifiable in the video to how cool it looks in person. We also have brake lights in the back, so when we start to reverse the truck, look at that, brake lights, and they turn off when we go forward. I kind of wish they stayed on. Okay, so let's do a shock test. I'm just gonna bring it up here about 2.5 feet up and drop it. Not bad. Nothing broke, that's a good sign. So I have to say, if you're a kid and your dad bought you this for Christmas this year, man, you got the coolest dad ever, because this truck is really a nice, huge scale. It's really, it makes me feel like I really own something super cool with this, with all the exterior detail, the kind of old school Camel trophy, 1981 on the hood there, Range Rover across the middle, this almost what looks like real metal on the side here, these running boards that you can take off, and if you get stuck, you'll be able to get yourself out. You got this on there, and my son's been asking me what that is, and that is a snorkel. So if you go immersed underwater, that your engine will still run and not cut off. Now for RC scale stuff, it's just for looks. It doesn't function or anything like that. But it is kind of cool to see that on the truck. So I think we should take it outside. Let's run it out in the mud and the water in the backyard and the leaves and see what kind of crawling we can get into. All right, let's go ahead and drive this bad boy. I love the scale of this truck. It's freaking awesome. I love 10th scale. So check out the lights. Just the whole body style of this truck is awesome. And I love my Camel sticker on the back, man. Super nostalgic to see like a Camel logo. Not something you see a lot of these days. You don't see a lot of cigarette, type of advertising and stuff like that anymore, but kind of gives a nod to like the early 80s, like late 70s vibe of this truck. So we're just gonna get going here. It's just, it's one of those days where you need something waterproof outside, and this is just gonna be that perfect type of RC thing to have outside today, considering the conditions. So couldn't get any better for a 4x4 truck like this. Man, I just the thing is, I just love looking at the scale, the style of this truck. If you watched my channel before, you know we're big fans of like scale aviation. We do a lot of military style helicopters and planes, and RC trucks and crawlers are no exception. I love the tan interior. That's also kind of a nod to like 70s and 80s off-road trucks and SUVs. Now we're just kind of getting narrow through here, so I'm just going to kind of skirt my way through over top of the stepping stones. Look at that. How scale is that? Is that cool? That is cool. This is the cool thing. Like, when you're crawling this truck, again, we have like 2 speeds on this truck. High speed for the grass, and then we have low speed for the really deep spots. I'm going to take you back into the leaves in the very back of the yard. It's going to almost, I had very low expectations for this truck out in the weeds, but here we are in high gear, and the top is so large that I thought that it would make the center of gravity give and like flip the truck over. It never flipped over, so it's awesome that the truck didn't flip over in sort of a high speed turns, because the first thing that most of these RC truck, the 4x4 trucks do, they're top heavy and they just roll. And this one, I didn't get it to roll a single time. So FMS really has the motor up front helps a lot. The mid-center battery, I wish the battery was further forward to give me some more forward crawling CG on this truck. But it seemed to get up and over things quite well. So let's take it over kind of one of our first obstacles. which is over the balance beam, the super slick carpet right here. It's gonna take some, you know, some chooch to get over it there. And you can take this front bumper off if you find that it gets stuck and snags on things like this. You can take off the front bumper and give yourself a little more room. So right here, we're gonna do some bridge crawling. I set up my Sprinter van lift kit right here, and I'm just gonna drive up and over this. This is kind of our bridge to get across the leaves. The leaves are a couple feet thick right here, and they're sopping wet. So the landscapers have been pushing all the leaves from the yard to the very back trench back there. Kind of cool. We made it across that bridge. Now we can kind of get up and over some of our first like small rocks to crawl. I love the way it looks, all soaking wet. Just really gives it kind of that scale off-road look, which looks pretty cool, especially with this body kit. I gotta turn on the lights. Just notice that my lights are off. So again, you got that switch just underneath the top bar on the transmitter. You can kind of get to it with your thumb at the very top of it. And look how deep the leaves are. We're just freaking cruising through here. I'm walking backwards trying to film at the same time here. And I gotta say, man, you know, they nailed the orange, sort of the mustard color of the Camel brand. That is dead on right there. This color on this body matches that so well. I think for guys that are my age and older, that's really going to bring back some nostalgia for a lot of guys, especially if you still smoke Camels. I mean, come on. I feel like my dad used to smoke Camels. So now I'm going to go up into the leaves, and like we're just going to try to just chooch it all the way through right here. And it's about to get so deep, I'm not even sure if I'm going to make it through. Honestly, these tires look a little bit small for getting through this kind of piles and piles, like weeks and weeks and weeks of leaves right here. Look at that, just pretty much bottomed out. I'm just gonna like try to work my way out of this and see if I can actually do this. Is this even, like, I don't even know if this is possible. And really, this truck, you know, if it makes it all the way through these leaves without me having to get in there and rescue it, that says a lot about the 550 motor and just kind of the gear train in general. Man, she just found some ground there. Just get up a little bit of speed through that, and I just want to zoom out a little bit so you guys can actually see how deep this is. This is a great test for this truck. You know, just find your line through there. Looks like it's doing good. Now back over Leaf Bridge, trying to escape the clutches of the leaves. There we go. Very nice. Back to the yard. Now I can use my higher gear here. But I think we should go over here and we should crawl back over the carpet one more time, over the balance beam. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go back into low gear. Just going to come up and over. I love the way the front bumper looks. Very Range Rover. If we're fans of that type of SUV. I remember seeing those when I was a kid growing up, and it was like, man, if you had a Range Rover, you were somebody. And when Range Rovers got older, a lot of people used to buy them after they got quite a bit older, and they'd have a lot of running problems. Because everybody knows the brand. I'm just going to say right now, it's not an American brand. No offense to the English. So, okay, let's go up over our rock garden right here. This happens to be Lennon's dog grave, so no offense to the dog lovers out there. We're just doing little rock crawling. It's some of the few rocks that we have in the backyard, but I'm pretty sure our puppy Lennon doesn't mind the company. You get stuck right there. Get a wheel up on some of those smaller rocks. There's not a lot of, I wouldn't say there's a ton of clearance with these tires. I think one thing about this truck is that it would benefit from just a little bit bigger tires. I mean, and that's pretty much any rock crawler out there. Everybody's trying to upsize their tires, but you know what they did? They're keeping it true to scale here with these tires. All right, back up onto the concrete. She survived backyard jungle and the leaf pile. That was kind of crazy. Just wanted to see if I could burn out, do a little bit of a burnout. Let's see if I can get this thing to flip over like full speed. This is the high gear. Man, it looks so scale, just ripping around in the backyard. It's awesome. Really pops on the green grass. Now it's time to just hose her down. It's covered in mud, so the cool thing about this is it's fairly waterproof, especially if you've got the top on it. You can just kind of just rinse it off and just spray it off with the hose. And I'm going to show you what I do with a lot of my RC crawlers. Once I spray them off, get them, nice and clean. You don't want to take it in the house all soaking wet, dripping water everywhere, because your wife or your girlfriend's not going to be stoked about that. I mean, you know how it goes, guys, with RC cars. Just sand and mud everywhere. So I'm going to set it up here. We'll put it on there, and we're just going to hit it with the blower, just like she was in a car wash, and just blow all that extra water and everything off there. Get her nice and high and dry. Look at those shocks. It won't blow it all the way over. It has a really good weight to it. And she's looking pretty cleaned off. So I'm going to take her back inside, and we're going to talk about some final thoughts about this awesome scale crawler. Here we go. All right, so welcome back from the drive test. That was surprising. And on a bunch of different levels, because me, honestly, I really like those low center of gravity style crawlers, those like competition style crawlers. I also like scale stuff, but I feel like when you get into a lot of scale RC, it tends to take away from the performance, right? The performance, and you don't have the weighted axles and all that stuff on this one, not all the fancy upgrades. This one's more for the looks than anything. And it did surprise me as far as the performance goes. So out in the backyard, when I had it in high gear, I was zigzagging around trying to get this body to roll over on itself, and it didn't. So that was good. That's a thumbs up as far as the high speed gear. They don't have it high enough that it rolls the truck over, which I think is more enjoyable. And the next thing was the leaf pile, the infamous leaf pile in the back of the yard. This truck made it through, even with the smaller tires on here than most of my RC crawlers. Have a little bit larger scale tire to it, and even though this one has smaller tires, it 4x4'd its way through a foot and a half of leaves in the backyard that have been culminating since September. So it was amazing that it made it through the leaves. Now, number two, the scale crawling through the rocks. It did hold its own through the rocks. I didn't have a crazy rock garden to go take this truck into, but I would be comfortable taking this one to, say, like the infamous Elk Island, one of the most famous crawling spots just outside of Portland, Oregon. I think this truck would handle its own out there. And I'm surprised at how soft the shocks are. The shocks are really, really nice. I mean, look at that from side to side. It's like, has a lot of rock and roll to it. So it has a lot of give. And I think for beginners, it would be more forgiving when you're driving this, have less rollovers. Even though it's a high body scale style RC crawler, it has a great center of gravity. So the frame underneath is heavy enough, motor up front, really does drive quite well. The front servo too that surprised me as well, because it feels like a more high resolution steering than what I have on some of my other RC cars. So love the scale, love the performance of it. I think the price at around $300 to start. I believe without the transmitter, I think it's like 370 to 380 with the transmitter, but also with a 2S4400 battery, I think comes with that. But yeah, some scale cans in the back and a lot of cool stickers, and some of you could just hose off with the hose. But yeah, and that old school camel, sort of camel color truck body just really brings me back to the 1980s. Love the lights, love the light bar, love the scale, the nostalgia of this one. I'm about it. So if you want to check it out down in the link below, and you enjoyed this drive test, and I would say successful drive test, you can grab one for yourself. I think you'll like it. Hey, yeah, check out the Defender version. The Defender one is looking pretty cool. So again, I appreciate you guys hanging out on my channel. Make some comments down below what you think about the Range Rover, and I'll bring you some more FMS reviews coming up on the channel. I got some hot trucks coming up, so stay tuned on the channel, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.